Everybody, welcome to a brand new Daddy Issues podcast. It's me and Nicky Paris today.
What's up?
Dean's in New York.
Yeah.
But stay tuned. We're going to have a great show. It's been like 2 weeks since I've seen you.
2 weeks. Too long.
Too long.
You've been everywhere. You've been on vacation. I love that Dean was like, I'm going away for 3 days. Now it's like he's like Amelia Earhart. I'm not sure he's coming back.
I know. And now he's like doing comedy with Tori Spelling
around the world
on their tour.
Sounds like our original idea.
Yeah, it sounds like. Yeah, it does sound like that.
They got a gay host. It wasn't even
really.
Yeah.
They have a gay host?
They have a gay host. I'm not gay enough.
Well, they have a comedian who was a wrestling coach as well. They got our stunt doubles.
Yeah, it's like a scholarship program.
Wow. All right, well, we'll talk about that when Dean gets back.
The only reason I wanted I have him here in person because I stood at my friend for Thanksgiving and she just got a dog that she named Bo.
Really?
That she loosely inspired off of his child. So
that's really nice.
Isn't that sweet?
Wow.
I guess it is sweet at first. I was like, you named your dog after my friend's child, but I guess it's sweet.
Well, actually, before I left, I had the baby all day, and my wife was sick. So I called Dean. I'm like, my wife was home. I'm like, hey, I got to get the kid out of the house because she has like strep throat.
No.
And Dean's like, oh, well, take the baby over my place. You can meet the pigs, this and that. So I drive over to Woodland Hills. It was an hour and a half drive, and the kids are all there. The nannies are there, but Dean's not there. So I didn't actually see Dean the entire. So I babysat his kids. I bought everyone pizza.
You fed the pigs.
It was like $800. No, he has 3 pigs now.
3?
3 pigs.
I thought it was 1. Now they had kids. They had piglets.
There's 2 piglets, and they're getting a goat. They're getting a baby goat. They went to the fair on Halloween and came home with 2 pigs. I usually come home with like a goldfish from the fair back in the day. Remember you used to, or
right,
whatever.
Of course.
They came home with
and
2
the little
pigs.
bag.
Yeah, and a goat. So we're gonna talk about that when Dean comes back.
A small petting zoo. I think they really should start charging. I wish my family bought me there as a child.
His kids are so sweet, though.
I love them.
I can hang out with his kids all day.
I saw that Liam posted a video calling himself Liam Greenberg.
Really?
Yeah, he was pretending to be his manager, and I just thought that was ironic.
So how are you?
I'm all right. I'm going to Hawaii this weekend, so I'm starving myself. I have no heat, so this is the perfect time to be frail.
We have no heat.
Okay, so in my studio apartment, I know you think that I sleep on an air mattress on the side of the road, but in my apartment, it's okay. So the heat comes from like the air conditioning. It's a back house, but like I'm afraid to turn on the heat because it comes from the air conditioning. I just want to be set on fire. I don't do well in the heat.
I don't think it'd be set on fire.
You don't think that? Wouldn't you be a little nervous if it was like an air conditioning unit in the wall?
No,
and that's where the heat
totally
comes from
normal.
too.
That's called being alive.
Okay, well, I basically slept in a Juicy Couture sweatsuit last night, so.
God.
I'm glad Thanksgiving's over.
What did you do Thanksgiving?
I went up to upstate because my parents aren't celebrating Thanksgiving because my grandpa died, and they're not doing Christmas either, which I know is selfish of me, but Christmas is also my birthday.
Oh.
So I really want a Christmas tree up. So I'm just celebrating the holidays on my own terms this year.
Where? With who?
Anybody that will celebrate with me.
Well,
the goat.
Who did you go upstate with?
My best friend lives upstate.
Oh, okay.
So we went up there. We thought her roommate died because he didn't come out of his room for 24 hours. But I think he was just depressed. So that's
it's a female best friend.
Female best, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Is she straight too?
She's straight. She has a boyfriend, and I was the third wheel.
All right.
So it was fun setting up the tripod and lubing them up. No. But I actually saw somebody. I went on a date this week with somebody that I saw that I met 10 years ago in New York. His name is Niklaus. I think it's spelled
You're
Nicholas.
saying his name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. This is a new me.
Okay.
Get ready for it.
Wow. Well, okay. So where would now? How did you?
I met him at a bar in New York many years ago. It was like a movie. I saw him from across the room, and it just stopped. And usually, what that happens is they go back to their wives. But this time, he walked across the room to talk to me, and the rest was history. I spent a week with him.
Wait, that was 10 years ago. You met him.
Yeah.
And you saw, but when did he contacted you?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
he saw he was going to be in California, and I happened to be in San Francisco. So I met up with him. English is still a language barrier because he's a TV reporter in Germany.
Right.
And I barely speak English myself. So it was
he's a gay guy.
Yeah.
And you knew he was gay back then?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is one of the people I've been with that is actually out of the closet.
Was it a gay bar you were at?
In New York, yes.
Okay. So,
not in San
so
Francisco.
All right.
No.
So it was a gay bar in New York. He contacted you 10 years later.
Yeah.
Says, hey, I'm still single.
Yeah.
Want to go out?
Yeah.
And you guys went out?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
We went to a restaurant in San
Schindler's
Francisco.
List or something? Or
Yeah. I was locked up in somebody's basement for a little bit, but luckily I made it here for this recording.
But you went out and then you guys went to a movie or?
We went out to dinner,
Yep.
and then we went to a bar, and then we went back to his place.
You had sex?
No. Surprisingly.
You fooled around though.
Yeah, he's a little bit older, so I think he had some trouble getting it up.
Oh, come on.
But
really?
yeah,
So
I mean, he's not really old. He's like 38.
I'm 41. Now, does that
I'm 26.
does that mess with your self-esteem at all?
No,
All right.
because I know that happens with old age, and I know it's not me because I know I've aged quite well.
Okay. All right. So you guys hung out a little bit.
It's a lot easier to age to 26 than 38.
So you guys are gonna go out again?
No, he lives in Europe.
Oh.
So this was just like
Is he still in here?
I think he's gonna be in Hawaii when I'm in Hawaii.
Oh.
But unless he takes a paddle boat, I'm not leaving the island.
Oh, a different island.
After seeing the Natalie Holloway story, I'm not going to any other islands. I'm not going anywhere. But you're on vacation.
Yeah.
You're bronze. I like that.
I'll tell you all about my story. So okay, so you like this guy,
Yeah.
and he likes you.
Yeah. But am
Now,
I ever
but
going to see him again?
Does part of you liking him is the fact that he's away, and you know that you don't have to really commit to him because it's not a real thing right now?
Did you get off the phone with my therapist on before you got here this
No,
morning?
is that
Yes.
kind of-
I don't really know anything about him or remember. And I actually had the wrong details. I was telling people he was from the Netherlands. He's from Germany. So I just really like the idea of him.
Yeah.
It's my own narrative. It's my own. I'm Mother Goose. And you know what? I'll write my own story here.
Yeah, that kind of happens. That happens all the time. I mean, I remember when I was in New York, and I would meet girls that were on vacation, and we were in both Times Square, and I was at Gladys's, and then they'd be like, "Oh, this is the best weekend ever," blah blah blah. We'd hook up, this that, and then I would like try to get in contact, or I'd go to their hometown, and they'd be like, yeah, you were kind of like a bucket list, like go to New York, hook up a guy, and then when it comes to reality, it's not as
Not as exciting. I know. That's what so many things.
Yeah, that's
Like comedy.
yeah. So I'll tell you about my time. So
You were in Miami performing.
I went to Miami to do a show.
Miami Improv.
And I did the Miami Improv. That was great. A bunch of fighters came. That was awesome. It was also one of those. It was freezing in the room.
In Miami?
No, in the comedy club for some reason. But usually, like, I'll take coldness over heat in a comedy club anywhere. Like David Letterman, they used to freeze the studio because they think like that
Makes
elicits
people
laughter.
stay together.
Yeah, you laugh more when you're cold for some reason. Like New York in the winter is the best place to get laughs.
Yeah.
And then not so much like in hotter places for some reason. So, but it was a good show. It was one of those things where I kind of went for it. Like, hey, if we sell out, you're gonna make $20,000, and if we don't, you're gonna make not a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, we'll sell out. And of course we didn't.
How many seats were you away?
I don't know, too many. But it was still like a good trip. So I went there, and then I went to Key West afterwards. And there's a little comedy club in Key West. And the last time I went to Key West was while I went there once before, but when I was in my 20s, there was a thing called the Fantasy Festival. It's like Mardi Gras, but 10 times better. And I went with my friend, and I didn't realize, first of all, it's half
Is
gay.
it a fantasy sports?
No,
Oh.
fantasy like women
Like
walk
fuck
around
me
like
dressed as a
naked.
firefighter? Oh,
Girls
okay.
wear like pasties,
Okay.
body art. It's a lot of old people that you don't want to see naked, but it's also a lot of
Always.
young people too. And when I was in my early 20s, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Me and my friends, like, I went there one time, and my friend Rob Portnova, who was this like Italian, like you couldn't get more Italian. He's like Jersey Shore Italian. And I didn't realize that every hotel was sold out. So we got one hotel that wasn't. And it was this gay. I didn't realize it was like a gay hotel. But I realized that when I went into the hot tub, there's like 8 naked dudes. Literally like, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Fantasy Festival. Super nice. But I was like, all right.
Clam chowder soup.
So I went back into the condo, and I go, Rob, there's like 5 of the hottest women naked you've ever seen in the condo. He's like, really? I'm like, dude, get naked. Let's go. He gets butt naked, runs out. I lock the door. Within 3 seconds, it's, you mother, he's screaming at me. I was crying, laughing.
That was the best weekend of Clay Aiken's life, though.
Best. So, like, I mean, Fantasy Fest was a lot of fun. But actually, these 2 girls came back with us, and he hooked up with both of them. I didn't get either of them.
What did you do? You masturbated and
He
went
was
to
a good-looking
sleep?
kid, and he played it a lot cooler than I was.
Okay.
A lot cooler. I hooked up with a different girl, but anyway, it was
So it wasn't a sad story after all. Sad in that moment,
compared to
but
these
you redeemed
ones,
yourself.
I redeemed myself. So
And now he has HPV, so I'm sure you made the better
sure
choice.
he had it before. So we ended up allegedly. So I ended up going back to the fan, and it was great. It was a great show. It was packed. It was a little I feel like this guy from Boston. He kind of like he went down to Key West. There was no comedy club. He opened up his own comedy club. He goes up every week, and he brings up his friends.
And there's people?
Yeah, there's like it holds like 100 people. They all come. There was one girl that came that was like normal looking, and then she added me on Instagram, and I was like, like, what are you, a superhero? Like, this is not the girl. She's a pretty girl, but I mean, that's all that it.
Key West beautiful or like?
No, hot. But in case Bree's listening, nothing. Of course,
I saw she met you on the cruise.
Anyway, so then, all right, so then I drove back from Key West, which was a 4-hour drive, and then we went to a hotel, and I had another show, and it was at this, it was at a bar, and there was like 9 people there. It was the first time they ever did a comedy. There was like no stage. The speaker was outside for some reason, as opposed to inside, and these girls came to see me that are fans of MMA Roasted, and they came with like posters of me.
No.
One was a 15-year-old girl and her sister who was like 19 and their parents. And I was like, man, I wish they would have came when I was opening for Russell Peters.
Or when they were 18.
They had me sign it. It was so cute, but like...
That's adorable, Adam.
Yeah, but I felt like they saw me in front of 8 people. Like, I felt like I let them down. And I even said that. I go, you know what? A part of me is like, I wish you guys would have seen me in front of a lot of people. But this is what comedy is.
That is what comedy... I didn't even think there was 8 people in Key West.
No, this wasn't in Key West. This was back in Miami at some bar, like in the hood that me and Bree were late to. So we rented bird scooters and bird scooted to the show, which was fun.
Very eco-friendly.
Yeah, but it was a good show. It was actually one of those shows that everybody wanted to be there. That was there.
Oh, so that's good.
And they wrote me a long letter, the girl, saying that like she hadn't laughed and like that in months and was going through a hard time and thank you.
At 15?
No, her sister was
her
18.
Okay.
But she also went to college, this girl, and got a tattoo on her lip. Because during my show, like, anybody have tattoos? And she's like, me. I go, where?
Yeah, people get it on the inner lip.
Yeah, and it says like, shut the fuck up, STFU. And her dad didn't know until that time at the show. So that was sort of awkward.
So your show is the big reveal.
Yeah, it was like...
You're bringing families together.
Yeah, it must have been an awkward ride home. And she said it was a very awkward ride home.
I would imagine.
Yeah, so...
She's just like, Dad, STFU.
But I guess it goes away in 3 years. It doesn't...
Yeah, it's not permanent.
Anyway, so then we get on the cruise, right? And my friend... who's one of my best friends since I was 20. You know, we started doing comedy together. I met him. We gave out flyers together at Gladys's. Mike Circlin.
Mike Circlin, yeah.
But he decides to get married on Thanksgiving week in fucking Miami.
Yeah.
On a cruise ship. Now, none of us live in Miami. He lives in L.A. His wife lives in L.A. I was one of 2 friends that showed up. 2 friends. And... he's like, well, I wanted to make it easier for my family. Well, get married in New York. Why on a cruise out of Miami? And it was a cruise that I bombed on. Like, it was a cruise that I performed at that I like. So I had like memories. I'd never been on a cruise outside of performing on a cruise. So we get there, Bree and I, and the rooms, they give us a room. And thank God she booked this room because I never would have heard the end. But they gave us like, it was like a closet space. Was our room. It was the same room that I got as a performer, except on the 5th floor. No windows, nothing, and bunk beds.
Oh, so it's like the crew room.
Yeah, but we had bunk beds, but one bed comes out of the wall. So you're afraid that it's gonna break and then fall on my head.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, at least maybe we'll get a lawsuit. But so if I'm still alive. So she says, hey, listen, we can't stay in this thing. I mean, it's our honeymoon, yada yada.
We're staying with Mike Circlin.
She said it was their
Scoot
honeymoon.
over.
So they're like, oh, well, there's a 90% chance we can move you. That never happened. And they wrote on the windows, happy honeymoon, as if we would have a honeymoon with bunk beds. So now she's sick. Now I'm sick because there's no there's no air. So
you mean seasick?
No, like sick.
Oh,
like
actual
I'm waking
sick.
up like coughing. It was. I mean, we got a lot closer, literally.
Did you guys switch what bed you did it in? Did you?
We had sex one time. It was like having prison sex almost. and like there was no.
Now you know how I feel.
The other time, like, it was ridiculous. I mean, we got no sleep. It was supposed to be our our week away from the baby. The baby's in Fresno. We have a week away. We couldn't sleep at all. And plus, we were right above where they have the show, so we got to hear the show at all hours.
No.
And partying. It was rough.
You got to hear the gay choral group. And how long was the cruise?
4 days. We did do an excursion, which was fun.
I saw you on the horse.
The horses was
like
good.
Winona Ryder.
But the horses went into the water, and I didn't realize that when the horses go in water, they go to the bathroom. So the horse in front of you poops all over your legs, basically. So I got I got shit on by a horse. And then the other thing we were gonna do is swimming with the pigs, But
At Dean's.
we didn't actually do that because we were too sick. I mean, we got sick, beyond sick. It was rough, dude. It was rough.
I was gonna say you look a little skinnier too. Look at you.
I mean, and if you ever want to feel like you're in shape, go on a cruise. Because
I know people concerned about getting seconds to macaroni and cheese. I'm like, what about fixing your crooked toes?
I thought it was gonna be a submarine by the middle.
It does sound like you were low. If there's no windows, and that's why you feel like the boat rocking.
No, I thought people were gonna eat so much it was gonna sink.
that is probably a reality too.
Yeah, it was. I mean.
What cruise line was it?
I'm not saying. But it reminds me of when I used to work on cruises, and I used to work on cruises, and but I'm writing a script about it, and I keep telling myself like, this is like I gotta do it. This is the year I'm gonna do it. This is my commitment.
Yo, 2020, big things.
Because I just did the pinned, and it looks great.
I love the sizzle reel.
Sizzle reel looks great, and there's so much funny stuff on a cruise ship. I mean, I'll tell you one story that I'm gonna put in my pilot. I mean, there used to be break dancers on the ship, and the break dancers would hook up with everyone. Like, you weren't allowed to hook up with any of the guests, but they didn't care. They were with the girls all day, the bachelorettes, this and that. So these two guys, and they didn't care if they got fired. There were some of the people that just don't care, like whatever. So they're in the Bahamas, and they go skinny dipping with like three cruise girls, or maybe girls that were guests, and then local people stole their clothes while they were in the ocean. So they had to go back to the ship butt-ass naked. I was dying
They
laughing.
had nothing at all?
Nothing. They had nothing. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So, like, there's so many stories like that I have. And just the whole hierarchy of the ship of, like, the Italian Navy that has the best view, and then the girls that want to hook up with them because the best view, the dancers who a lot of them wanted to be on Broadway, and there's one of them is hooking up with the cruise director, and the cruise director has the assistant cruise director.
The cruise director always has to be gay, or it's not a good cruise director.
Or he's bullying the assistant cruise director who, like, he's hazing him, and then there's the comics, and one comic is like this, like, super jaded guy that was on Carson back in '84 that hates everybody. The other one's this like upstart guy, like so happy, and then there's like the magician, and then there's the people on the bottom of the ship. There's the Thai people who don't get along with the Filipinos, but they kind of do, and then the Eastern European girls that love the black dudes. They all work in the dining hall. There's a whole ecosystem.
It sounds like United Nations on water.
It is, and I'm gonna write about it, and I'm gonna do it. This is the year.
No, I gotta say, I don't know, like, I've actually always wanted to perform on a cruise ship, but my fear would be having to see all the people and be trapped on a boat with them for a week.
There is that. I mean, you know, like you could sometimes eat upstairs at the buffet, which is like the good buffet, but you go there and people start pointing at you, and they're either really nice, like, hey, great show.
Yeah, it's always one or two.
Or they want to tell you, like, tough crowd last night.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, which
I don't want to hear that over mashed potatoes.
Anytime someone tells you, like, I was laughing, it's just, that means no one else was laughing, including that person. Or they want to sit with you and tell you jokes. Or, like, here's something you can put in your act. And then you can't be a dick and be like, please get away from me. I mean, you can, but I'm not that guy.
Because then you're trapped for a week. Because then you'll see them again at the elevator or in the bowling alley on
why don't
floor
you get
2.
on Netflix? I mean, the good thing about Hollywood, one of the good things about Hollywood is that you sort of are in your bubble, and your bubble consists of other comedians or entertainers, and they kind of know what's up. I'm like, I'm not gonna go up to you and say, hey, you know, why don't you get on Netflix? Or I'm not gonna say to you, give you unsolicited advice, or you know, Amy Schumer is the funniest comic in the world, whatever. You know, like I kind of know you, you know me, and we kind of know where we're at. But sometimes when you leave that, and like you go home with your family, and you have to listen to people, like your uncle who wants to give you advice, or your aunt, or whoever, or they go, hey, you know who's really funny? Pete Davidson, whatever it is. And then you're just like, ugh.
I feel like it's only, like, you could never say that to a relative who's a teacher. It's like, oh, when are you going to become principal? You know what I mean? I heard 3 of your kids didn't pass the state test this year. You know, maybe next year. But it's only in entertainment.
Only.
But I mean, I get it from all the time. My dad's like, I have a joke for you. I'm like, my life. Thank you. You created
it's also
it.
in sports, because like fighters get it all the time. You know who I like? That Irish guy, Conor McGregor. You know, or like, and like when people tell me this, I'm crying on the inside.
Yeah.
And I wonder if people can tell that I'm crying on the inside. I'm just because I'm just like the best.
How do you react?
I just go, yeah,
I just talk it off. Yeah.
I mean, the best advice I ever got was from Mike. Who was it? Mike. Mike Epps. I was opening for Mike Epps, and some guy came into his dressing room and the green room, and it was like, "Yo, man, I heard you rap. I would love to have you be on my rap album," and did like a 20-minute spiel. And Mike just looked at him like he was speaking Chinese, and the guy just laughed, and he goes, "Man, you just gotta pretend you don't speak English."
I'm gonna take it for my date this weekend. Be like,
yeah,
teach me how to barely speak English.
that sometimes works.
Yeah.
Just pretend you don't know what they're saying.
Be like, can you get a Rosetta Stone to break this down?
I mean, this business is like, for me at least, I mean, I've never been in like the inner circle in anything. I mean, when I was in high school, I was friends with everybody.
What were you like in high school?
Well, in middle school, I was a disaster. I just wanted to be popular, and I would hang out with whoever I thought was popular, and I tried to hang out with like the bad kids were popular, kind of like the kids that were bullied other kids and they were assholes, and then I became one of those kids. But I was the kid that was actually getting bullied by those kids.
Really?
And then I would bully other kids too. But then when I got sent to boarding school, which in 8th grade, in high school, I changed completely, and I was nice to everybody. At meals, I would go and find a different table every day to sit with. I would try to sit with a different kid every day, and kids look up to me because of sports, because I was a really good athlete. But then also there were a couple kids that were super confident and super charming, and I did kind of follow those kids, which in hindsight, I wish I didn't. And then also with girls, I was terrible. I'd find the prettiest girl who I liked, the girl I was attracted to, and I became their best friend, hoping that like they had a boyfriend usually, and he was treating her like shit.
So you were in the friend zone.
And I was completely in the friend zone. I was the guy that the girl went to when the boyfriend was being a dick. It made the girl feel better about her own life, and then she went back to the boyfriend.
You're like, you're not that fat.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Just kidding.
But I feel like in Hollywood right now, or in the comedy world, there's that like inner circle, the Joe Rogan, crew, and I'm just not in that circle. For better or worse.
It's very political.
I just don't want to be. I'm just not. Look, if I'm friendly with Joe Rogan, and if he sees him, he says hi, and he says hi back. But I'm not gonna go like. I don't even know how to get in that circle, and I'm not gonna like put myself in. I'm not gonna go. I don't hang out where Joe Rogan's hanging out, so that I can slowly win him over. I just don't want to do that. Right. If it happens, it happens.
It's crazy that he's such a gatekeeper now. It seems like I love Jessica Kirson.
Yeah.
And she has her comedy special coming out on the 6th. And I was looking at her Twitter, and a lot of the tweets were like, get her on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, that seems like to be what everybody wants right now.
Totally. And the thing with comedy, I mean, right now there's that there's always, for some reason, like Hollywood or, certain comedy groups like Levity, they just assign like, you're the new comic, you're the comic. And then they kind of phase out last year's comic, but still you see like the same people go to Montreal, and the same people do that.
It's true.
And I've never really been in that circle, in that bubble. My dad was my manager, and I kind of created my own space,
And you really have. That is very true.
But I
mean, you're on tour all the time. You're city to city.
Right. But also a lot of like what I feel like what happens in this business is when people realize you're not going anywhere is when they help you or when they want to be with you. Like kind of Chris Rock had a thing where like if you're trying to flag out a car, no one will stop. But if someone sees you pushing your car, they'll stop and help you. And that's sort of like what stand-up comedy is for me. It's like eventually you get punched in the face enough by the business or the industry that the person's hand breaks and you win the fight. And that you have to just stay in the fight. You have to not quit.
And hang in there.
So many people quit.
Like that quote I told you can't get struck by lightning if you're not out in the rain.
It's the truth, and
well, what do you want? What's something that you would really strive for next year?
Well, I definitely want to sell Pinned, and I definitely want to come up with a new hour of special. Also because I got screwed in my last hour really bad on the Amazon Prime. I've not seen $1 for. Not $1.
This is still broke.
Yeah, still broke.
Staying true to form.
Still broke. I've not seen one. Basically, the company that I worked with was like, told me it was a CD, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna use it. We're gonna videotape it." I said, "Why?" And they go, "Oh, well, just for promotion." I go, "Well, what about? I don't want you selling this. Well, don't worry. If we sell it, you'll get half." That's what they said. Okay, cool. You know, that sort of like was the deal, and because they put up the money to shoot it and videotape it, and
Where did you film it?
in Seattle. So then, and a comic tells me it's on Amazon Prime. Not even.
Oh,
that.
they didn't even tell you that it was.
No.
It was on.
A comedian was like, "I saw your special on Amazon Prime." I go, "What?" And then I go, "Hey, I've not been paid for this yet." They go, "Oh, well, we haven't got any money yet. You'll get money by the December 1st." And I have not seen any money yet.
And today's December 2nd.
I have not seen any money yet for that thing. So now it's like, what do I do?
Would you do it again if you could?
No.
No.
I mean, I would no. Why would I want to?
Well, I'm asking because have you seen like a new onboarding of fans or people have discovered?
Yeah,
you
people think that I'm successful because I have a special on Amazon Prime. I mean, that's cool, you know. But I would like to be paid for my work.
Of course.
I mean, I've been paid through the CD. Like I get paid through Sirius Radio.
I was in the car with my dad when it was on.
Yeah,
I was like, I know him.
I get good money for that, but I have not got any money for the Amazon Prime. I mean, they're saying it's gonna come in, but it's just like, dude, like that's not. So anyway, I
absolutely relate to what you're saying because I feel like I'm ending 2019 very dissatisfied.
I'm not dissatisfied. I mean, I've had some great things.
I'm dissatisfied. So have I, but I'm still dissatisfied.
Like I had a billboard in Vegas.
You did.
This year, you know,
you did.
I was on the billboard in the Laugh Factory this year. I shot a pilot that I set out to do. It took me 5 years to do. I now have a sizzle reel. I'm working with the PFL. I had another, you know, like.
And toured all over the country.
I toured Russell Peters. I got to go to Greenland. I got to go to do military shows.
Key West.
I got back in with Carnival Cruise Lines. Like there's definitely like it's been a good year, you know. And I'm just saying that next year, I want to have a new special. I don't know. Maybe I want to. I think about maybe doing a roast battle, but doing it but not. I don't want to do like these guys work really fucking hard on it. Like, and I see their records like 10-4. Like, it's 14 fucking roast battles. Like I'm judging the one tomorrow.
I saw the one here.
Yeah.
I saw one of the ones here for the first time actually, and a lot of the people were really good. A lot of them weren't.
Some of them are great, but like you have to really do your work for it.
No, you have to do your research, and it has to be.
and I feel
like you can't just go for low hanging fruit if you don't know the person.
No, you have to. You have to obsess about it. But I get distracted so much because that's all I'll do. So I told myself I'll do one, but I gotta finish this cruise show. Like I gotta finish that writing that pilot, because like that's something that I told myself I was gonna do a couple years ago.
I mean, it's a great idea,
and it's never been done.
It's never been done.
So that's something that I definitely want to do. And then also, so special there. I want to get on Fallon, or one of the late night shows.
Same.
And then, and also I'm a regular, you know, at the Factory, and I'm past at the Improv, and obviously past the Haha and the Ice House. But there's other clubs, the Store, you know, that like I would love to, you know, be regular.
Yeah.
At. So
that's a lot of what I want to for next year.
You know, and then also, but the main thing that I want to do is, you know, be a good parent with my kid. That's, I mean, honestly, so like somebody told me like if I could have a Netflix special tomorrow, or not be able to go to Zuga or watch my kid do music every day, I'm like, I'd pick the fucking music every day. Like,
music every day.
That's the happiest I am when I get to see my kids smile and laugh. All everything else is like. That could happen. That could not happen. I mean, this business is like so, and
up and down,
but also like
up and down. 1 minute you could be like the golden boy, and the next week you're not.
But also you have to look at
and that's what hurts.
And you have to look at what is successful, right? Because I had dinner with my friend, and he goes, "Adam, when are you gonna pop, man? When's your break gonna happen?" And I was like,
I would have popped him in the face.
No,
I hate hearing things like that. That doesn't offend you at all to have somebody.
It depends who it's coming from. This is coming from a UFC fighter who is an amazing coach, who I was out to dinner with, eating soul food. Like, it was Dean Thomas.
Okay, so that's a different situation. But certain people, like, I feel like that's definitely like a trigger for me. Like, I hate when people say stuff like that.
He's not in the comedy business.
Right.
It depends who.
You're not as sensitive as me. I get it. The only thing I'm popping are pimples.
But I looked at it as like, okay, what is, like, I read that book, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which I don't really read a lot of books. I should read more books. It should have been on my bucket list.
I bought it. I haven't read it.
And he talked about how, like, everybody says, like, you're going to be happy when you achieve that goal, right? That goal is going to make you happy. So let's say the Adam Hunter hour Netflix special is going to make me happy, right? But then you're happy for that fucking 10 minutes, and you're miserable the rest of the thing. And it goes, like, well, look, what exactly is the goal? I mean, if the goal is to make a living doing what I love doing,
You're doing that.
then I'm doing that. If the goal is to have a wife who I love and like a baby who loves me, who I can't get enough of, like I've done that. If it's to have great friends, I've done you and Dean and Tarun and Mike and Aaron and Jonesy, like Ryan, like that, like I've done that, you know. So if that's the goal, then is to be happy doing what you love, then I've achieved that. If the goal is to become, you know, Theo Von right now, or to have that billboard, Jessica Kirson on Comedy Central, or no, I have not done that. But what's the real goal here?
Right.
You know,
I mean, it depends on. I think happiness is real. Like I always like to think too. I mean, it depends on what you want. It depends on, like, determines on what you're happy. Like sometimes I think the people that work at Walmart that make like $10 an hour, it's all they know and they're content with what they have because they have their family and they're happier. I mean, one of my friends said something so interesting. She went to Denmark for a trip, and she told me that the people in Denmark are just a lot happier than they are here because they aim lower than we do.
Maybe, but you also look at like people that have done that. Like let's look at Jay Moore, who's coaching wrestling now, who's the happiest he's been. He thanks me like once a week.
Right.
I mean, Jay Moore was bigger than Jessica Kirsten ever was. I mean, he was on one of the leads in Jerry Maguire. I mean, he was
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. I'm like he had. I mean, everyone.
A guest of the Daddy Issues podcast.
I mean, everyone looks at like right now as the mark.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at right now. Okay, right now Jessica Kirsten is doing really well. Okay, and I like Jessica.
I love Jessica.
So,
Big
but
fan.
if we look at like someone like Barry Sobel, you know who that is? You know, you're right, exactly. But at one point, Barry Sobel was like the top 3 comics in the country. I mean, he was in Revenge 227, Revenge of the Nerds, those Eddie Murphy comedy specials, and Johnny Carson. You know, people seem to like, everyone just looks at right now as like the mark, and that's also one of the things I fucking hate about, because this.
I mean, that's how I feel too.
It's
I
so
feel like
fleeting.
I'm so in the right now, but I just feel like it's because I want more for next year. Like I feel like 2019 was an okay year, but I feel like ending it's not where I thought I would be.
Dude, you booked 2 pilots.
I did that, you know, and
You did Caroline's.
I did Caroline's, but like exactly like you said, it lasts for 10 minutes, and now it's like, what's the next thing? And I have that part of me that always wants more. So next year, I'm like, I want to level up next year. I feel like in terms of comedy, I want to have an hour. I'm hoping, you know, I keep going in for different hosting things that I haven't gotten anything yet. So I'm just hoping that next year, I feel like financially, I would hope that I'm in a different place than when I ended this year, which hurts to say, because I feel like defeated a little bit, but
Dude, it's so funny, man. Like I remember when I was I booked an e-pilot, and they picked me up in a limo, and to go to the Palms. It was like Party at the Palms. It was just I think Godfrey hosted it, then Jenny McCarthy took over, whatever, and I was the comic, and I didn't have a credit card on me that had enough money for the incidentals at the hotel.
really,
But I was in a limo.
wow.
And at the Palms, like it's hard, man. Like sustainable money, like money that like it's so weird. And what makes it even more fucked up is social media, because
because everything is distorted. And
last night I went on my Facebook and everybody was like, "Oh, I just booked this," and I do the same shit,
Yeah.
because a lot of times I'm putting that out there for other bookings.
No, I mean,
Like, you
and
look
that
at
is
it
the
like
thing. You have to do that.
You're like, "Oh, I'm headlining X comedy club." So then whoever books Y comedy club goes, "Hey, why don't you do my club?" So it's like you're just fishing for other shit.
Things, right?
But
Leveraging.
while you're doing that, you're also making it seem like you're on top of the world. And if somebody who's not on top of the world is looking at that, it's not your responsibility to keep them happy.
Right.
But I could see very easily how you could be like, "Holy shit," like whatever. But then of course if you don't do that, you know, then you like if you come across as like bitter, you know, like you see people all the time going, "How come I'm not booked here?" And then you're just like, ugh. And it's like 25 comments of like, "Keep your head up," or positive
Right.
motivation.
Oh, I saw that this week. I was like, work harder.
Is that what you wrote?
No, I didn't write anything, but that's I hate when people write things like that. Big. I mean, and I feel like that, but I wouldn't put it up and ask for that. What's the word I'm looking for?
I got a note on Instagram this week because so I wrote I do MMA roasted. I write jokes about fighters, but I don't tag the fighters because I don't. Number one, most of them are following me anyway. And number two, if you don't want to be made fun of, I don't want you to know that I'm making fun of you. These guys could kick the shit out of me.
And they get a lot of action.
What?
I read them all. I don't know the people.
I wrote a Tito Ortiz joke. Tito Ortiz says he's still relevant. He said this on MySpace, right? It's a very simple joke. I used it like 6 years ago. I used it again, whatever. So everyone's laughing, haha, and somebody fucking tags Tito Ortiz and goes, Tito Ortiz is a great guy, a great father, blah, blah. And the guy's a comedian who does this. So I'm just like, oh, God. So then Tito Ortiz comes in and writes, it's okay, haters are going to hate, you're peanut butter and jealous, right? So, okay, right. So I'm a fan of Tito Ortiz. I met him a couple times. He's a nice guy. Happens to be a nice guy. So I fucking hit the guy up. I go, dude, don't tag these fighters? And he goes, but that's my friend. I go, yeah, but he doesn't follow me. He goes, well, now he's going to beat you up. Haha, just kidding. I'm like, dude, how fucking...
You don't need troublemakers.
No. Like, what are you doing? Like, now you're pissing him off on my fucking tweet. You're brown-nosing, and now you're telling me that I'm going to get my ass kicked?
I think he's trying to fuck Tito.
Probably, but I'm just like...
It's easier to assume that. Doesn't that make it feel better?
Fuck. It's just like, come on, man. People are so dumb.
People are so dumb.
Yeah.
Me and you both need an antidepressant this morning. Maybe not you, but definitely me.
Oh.
I've been in a funk this weekend.
Really?
I'm taking Dean's spot. I'll be handling the depression segment. I mean, I just feel like similar to what you're saying. I mean, like, it's true. It's all about perspective and of what you want. And like, I do look at like this year, but I just feel like I haven't hit the full potential of what I know I could do. And I feel like it's because I'm doing so many things that I can't focus my energy to do what I know I can. And that's very frustrating to me, and it depresses me because I just feel like
you work really hard.
I need a weekend away. I think I just need to like go on like a writer's retreat.
Yeah, you said that. And somebody said that like there's a train that takes you around.
Yeah, I was like, that's the last thing I want to fucking do. Be on so I could lay on the tracks on the way back. No, but yeah, I feel like that's like my biggest frustration, especially comedically, is I just feel like I am here, but I know I could be here, but I can't figure out how to have that moment to break through to that next thing that I need.
You just gotta do it for yourself, like you said. I mean, the problem with me also with social media and everything else is that like. I'm still trying to impress those fucking. There was like these kids in my college who I couldn't stand. These 4 kids of fraternity, they would just get drunk all the time and like just negative, and they had hot girlfriends for some reason, or decent looking girlfriends, and they were just dicks to me all the time. And I was nice, but I wanted to be like accepted by them. Even I had a friend say to me like, "Why do you care about these guys? What they think?" You know, and now they're. I don't know who I saw a picture of them. They didn't age very well. Life hasn't been that kind to them, but like I still.
So do you feel like you have that part of you that still wants to get that approval?
Seeking their approval, or seeking Joe Rogan's approval. Like Joe Rogan used to like all my posts, you know, and I still look if I tweet something or text. Did Rogan like it? Like I'm like, why the fuck do I care if Rogan likes it? Like he doesn't care if I like his post, you know. Like but there's still whether it's like. My dad, the same thing. It's like my dad's always telling me how I could be like, Dad.
Is he liking your posts?
Yeah, he likes. Them all. He likes them all. But a lot of times I used to be like, Dad, I got 100. And, oh well, you could have got 102. Like he always wants to say how I could have done better. Especially if I negotiated a deal, I always could have gotten more. But before to let him do it, always could have. But yeah, it's like I'm still looking for the approval of people that I wouldn't say don't matter, but it's like I should look for my own approval. Or the approval of my wife or my kid, or the approval of my dad, or people that know me.
Do you feel like you have the approval of yourself?
Sometimes, like I always feel like I feel like a lot of times I can do better. Whether it's I'll listen to the podcast and I said like too much, or I stuttered, or I could have let you speak more, or comedy shows I could have done this joke better, or that joke could have had more tags, or why did I? There's always something I feel like.
But now, don't you think that in some ways, saying that part of you that focuses on what you could have done better is what actually pushes you to the next level of what you could achieve?
I think there is definitely that, but there's also that of like just rooting for yourself, you know, and I mean, a part of me just feels like I don't know. I just feel like I've come up short. When high school, I was undefeated in wrestling, and my senior year, but I didn't win nationals. And my coach was like, "If you don't win nationals, all this means shit." And
Thank you.
and I didn't win nationals, and because I got impetigo that week and whatever, and then that always haunted me. And then I wrestled in college. I didn't finish that, and then I got on Last Comic Standing, but then it was because my cousin knew somebody, and it was sort of like and then I didn't win. Eliza won, and now I see her success, and I'm just like, she's on her 4th hour, and I didn't come out my 1st hour yet, or I did, but it didn't hit the approval of where she's at, There's definitely like a lot of things that I'm like, I'm in this club or that club, but I'm not at the cellar, or the store, or I feel like I'm not on that A list, and so yeah, there's definitely that part of me going, and then there's a part of me that's like, and somewhat scared to do that, because what if I try for the Comedy Cellar and Esty says, well, we don't like, and then I'm like, well, then everything will be not there, But then a part of me looks like, well, I play this club or that club, and I could, this guy can't follow me. Like I like know that, like I know that I've done the work, but then there's also like, well, did I write any new jokes today? Did I write new jokes this week? Did I write how many bits did I write? Like, did I get distracted that way? So there's constant.
And I feel that same way too. Like, and I just feel like and you definitely do the work as somebody that like isn't out, looking outside onto you. Like, you are one of the hardest working people I know. And I think that in some ways, like, everything that you're saying is completely valid. And I completely relate to that too. Like, I just feel like, I want to be in that sphere that you're talking about. But it also, like, not being there, I feel like in some sick way, like, motivates me. Like, okay, it's that even like when I'm down and like I feel so defeated, I'm like, get up. You could be doing,
Yeah, but and then it was I did colleges for a while, and then it was like I was too dirty for colleges. I did cruises, and then like I was too dirty for cruises. So then it was like, okay, now where do you put me? So then where do I go to?
I mean, I had the same thing with the college because my comedy is very edgy, and I have to ask myself artistically, is it worth changing what I want to say to, like, is it kind of like selling out in a way, like, financially? And I decided that's not what I wanted to do as an artist.
Yeah. I mean, I just know as like,
I feel like it's a lot less painful, at least for me, like, to look at things like artistically and not as much on the business. I just look at it every year as I know where I want to be as an artist, as what I want to say, and not as much as the business stuff, because I think you get so lost in it. And if you do focus on the business stuff, then you're compromising what you're saying artistically.
1,000%. And that's why
it's like the push and pull of it all.
The dime bar is so pure, because it's just like you're up there in front of 20 people. The jokes work or they don't. It's not this like other thing, And then look. I know.
I love that you said that about it being pure. That's a really.
It's beyond pure. I mean, I know that when I get off stage, people are just like, "Where can I see you again?" I've gotten it. Like, I mean, this guy hit me up yesterday. Like,
I mean, I see people come all over for you on the dime.
Sometimes, I mean, like this. Well, a lot of times when I'm just like, when I'm like, am I doing like the right thing? Like, this guy texted me the other day. This guy hit me up. He goes, "Hey, Adam." He goes, like, I got this text. Adam, we saw you a couple months ago at Tommy T's in Rancho. I was the guy you said looked like wandered in out of the woods. I wanted to say we enjoyed your show immensely. The reason I want to say thank you is that you were the first thing to make my wife laugh in quite some time. No, she wasn't the person that didn't smile at the show. That chick was weird. She's been told that she had a very large cyst in her ovary back in December, started slipping into a depression that you helped her snap out of. I was literally the first time I see her laugh in months. Since then, she's been much better with her moods, especially now the cyst is removed. But for the couple months after your show and before the surgery, she's a lot calmer and even laughed and smiled. Hope to see you come back. Hope you're doing well. Truly talented individual.
I mean, how nice is that?
Yeah, I get that a lot. Not a lot, but I get enough of that where I'm just like, all right, this is why I'm doing it, But it's just, I'm not going to complain, because at the end of the day, like, I'm doing what I love doing and I'm making a living doing it. I just got to be, I think this is going to be a good year. 2020 is going to be a good year.
Please. I'm praying on it.
So,
I'm praying
Are
on
we
it.
doing that phone call or no?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just
We got
one.
like 2 minutes though.
Do we? Schmidt, are we good? Can we take a phone call? All right, cool.
Did Schmidt fall asleep?
Schmidt's like, these problems are boring. All right, guys. So today we have a call from David Berg, who is calling from the middle of America. I'm not sure which state.
Okay.
Maybe we could ask him.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'm excited. And guys, don't forget, if you want to be one of our lucky callers, email us at daddyissueshow@gmail.com or leave us a comment.
Hello.
Hey, is this David?
It is.
Hey, it's Nicky Paris and Adam Hunter. How are you, David?
Hello. Good. How are you?
We're good. We're excited to hear your problem.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I've had hemorrhoids for about 5 years now. Oh, which question did you want? I'm so sorry.
No, really? Have it? All right, go on.
We have some preparation H here.
Is it internal hemorrhoids or out hemorrhoids?
Both.
Well, what you got to do is you got to not when you take a dump. Do you use your phone?
To wipe?
No, not to wipe, but like, are you on the phone while taking a dump?
Of course. Have you been on TikTok?
Yes, well, that's the problem right there. If you stop using your phone, stop reading or using your phone, they'll go away.
Oh, fine.
And I recommend a potty squatty or squatty potty, whatever you call it, so you're
I
elevated.
do have a squatty potty. It's great.
Great.
Not sponsored.
Wait, was
Anyway.
Is that the question? We recommend a colonoscopy.
That was not my question. So I was just curious. So I have been pursuing comedy. I've been doing stand-up for, a few years now. And my husband just opened up a new business. He's running a martial arts dojo here in Nebraska. And so we're both kind of navigating this world of both like having things going on and like navigating our own personal successes. And I just, one thing I grapple with is trying to navigate those successes kind of equally and making sure that, I'm focusing on my own goals and objectives, but also focusing on the relationship. But it's difficult. So I just kind of wanted to get somebody's opinion on how you navigate success in a relationship, when both people are trying to, reach their own goals.
Do you guys have date night?
Yeah, we do try to have a date night at least once a week just to kind of, regroup and figure out, where we've been. But, outside of that, a lot of our time spent is just, coming home and going to bed. We don't even get to, like, share meals that often.
Do you feel like you're allocating an equal amount of time to both your careers, or is there one that takes precedence over the other?
I definitely think that my full-time job – are you talking about, like, compared to my full-time job and my comedy stuff?
Yeah. And his martial arts studio. Like, how does this all fall in relation to timing?
Well, I think that I definitely focus more on my daytime job than my comedy stuff, and he definitely focuses more on his dojo as compared to his full-time job.
It's crazy. You have a gay jiu-jitsu guy and a gay comic in Nebraska. I would think you guys corner the market.
I know we need a reality TV show.
Yeah, I mean, well, do you also take his classes, his martial arts classes?
I don't, because that's a weird dynamic for me in my relationship. I just feel like it would be too weird for me to just try to take instruction in that way. Plus, I'm a big fat guy, and I don't need him to see me sweat like that.
He's your husband. Wouldn't he
Yeah.
see you sweat in the bedroom?
That's true, but I don't.
The
sweat
lights
that
are off.
often
It doesn't
because
count
I
as
don't
much.
work that hard.
And how often are you doing comedy?
I'm going to at least 2 open mics a week, and then I mean Fridays, Saturdays, nights. I mean, I'm pretty booked up like every week, and that's the other hard thing about it too, is that the majority of his classes are during the week at night, and then so he has more at-home time on the weekends. But then I tend to be out doing shows.
Does he come with you to shows?
Not anymore, because he's anything that I have to say anymore, he's kind of already seen.
Does that upset you, though? Do you still wish that he would come?
I don't, because I feel like it's one of those things where I feel like he's more introverted, so like that's not really his kind of group. I mean, Nikki, you've been out in the scene. You know what it's like in those situations where you're in a group with comics and like their spouses are around. It tends to be a little bit interesting. Like it's not, there tends to be a little bit of awkwardness, at least in my experiences.
It's tough. I mean, I would say that like you got to start doing lunches together.
Yeah.
And I think it's
that
definitely plotting out the times that you're available so that you both are getting the time, energy, and support that you both require.
Exactly. Yeah. I think date nights would definitely help. I haven't actually really thought about the whole lunch idea, but I do like that because that's,
like
those
lunches?
are definitely times that.
Well, it just seems like it sounds like time that like if he's out at night 4 nights a week, and then he works at night, so during the days they have to have free. But I just think like a 5 to 7. I know my wife, she makes me like 6 to 7. I got to be home. I know I got to, just even if it's just an hour. Plus, you guys don't have kids, so you really have no excuse. It gets much harder when kids get involved.
That's right. When you guys adopt a baby buffalo from Nebraska.
Listen, I don't appreciate your stereotypes.
But also, you got to mix it up. It sounds like you guys are getting complacent, and like, maybe he wants to just be grappled down and just banged.
That's a very good point.
How you
Grappled
doing?
down and banged. How you doing?
So make more time for each other, and yeah, face to face is the way to go.
How often are you? Are you guys hooking up?
How often?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking probably oral every couple days. I don't know, sex once a week.
Yeah, you got to pick it up. You guys are gay, right?
You're letting our people down. No.
Oh my God, I know it's disappointing, but we're both so tired.
Yeah, but you have like a white belt in dick sucking. So.
But you can get the black belt. The black belt's the best one, right? If you put the work in. Are you impressed that I knew that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, David, thank you for calling in with your question, and
Of course, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
we love you, and best of luck. We hope you and your husband get it on, maybe on the mat.
All right, thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day.
Take care.
I mean, we really are. Move over, Oprah, and
Yeah.
the Super Soul podcast. I think that we're really giving the people what they need. Suck dick in a karate suit.
Well, my wife and I, we've been picking up our sex life a lot. I think the testosterone's helped, and like we've just been like, I think we banged like 5 times last week. So
Really?
yeah.
Those poor people in the room next to you on the cruise. They're like, we should have went with Royal Caribbean.
Just sometimes it's just you gotta like.
Yeah.
But that you gotta mix it up.
You look young. I can't see a pore on your face. You look refreshed.
You gotta mix it up.
Look at you, Adam.
Yeah, we got a double date with Hasselhoff over there.
Really?
No, the German guy.
Oh, yeah, right. I was like, who? All right, tell everybody where you're performing.
Next week, actually Friday night this Friday night at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, and then next Monday to Sunday, December 9th to the 15th in Las Vegas at the Strat. There's like 2 lesbians that love the show in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah. So hopefully I'll see them again at the Strat. Her name is Pink something on Instagram.
It should be. Yeah, come on out.
The Strat in Las Vegas. What about you?
The Dime every Tuesday. December 30th, I'm at Caroline's again. I don't put the location where I have shows. And I'm doing a bunch of New York shows. I'm going to be in New York the end of December to the beginning of January. And then I'm performing in London in January 19th and 20th. And I think I'm performing at a place called the Chicken and Hen Theater, which is actually a bar. So if you'd like to be one of the 7 people that come there, come check me out.
I love it. Thank you.
Adam, I enjoyed this time together.
Me too.
I missed you.
Missed you too.
I did.
Thank you.
You going to close us out with a video?
Just
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for listening, guys. See you next week.